19. We having a good time? Excellent answer. I know some of you are always here, some of you are sometimes here, some of you have been here before, but this is the bit where I tell you stuff anyway, regardless of that. So, my name's Matt. I'm one of the guys behind Meatopia, and we're 7 years in now, and it's all about great food, but it's also about a message. So we always have and always do believe in ethically produced meat, not because it's better for us and the animals and the environment, because it tastes better as well. And our message has really been almost don't eat more meat, eat less meat, but eat good meat. So this is what all these great chefs are here to do, to demonstrate how you can make just amazing food with some fire, some really great meat, parts of animals that you may not have ate before. But if you're going to kill something, which I am a carnivore, I think have respect for it, eat all of it. So we've got some really great people on the stage here today. Not least of which Mr. Marcus Bawdon over there. We've got some amazing chefs. So I mean, I'm not going to name them all because there's just too many. But I've eaten well this weekend. I think so. You know, I just really want to. This year, I think of all years. I mean, we've been giving this message out for quite a long time now. But the world seems to be catching up a bit. I mean, I think if we want to continue to eat meat and use fire, we need to do it properly, responsibly. And it's the intensive farming, I think, which is bad. I mean, I just say buy something good, use all of it, make a stock. If you buy a chicken, buy a good chicken. Roast it, do salads and the wings and the legs, and then take the bottom, make a pie, put the bones in. You make a great chicken stock from a great chicken. It'll be just superb. Have it with a risotto the next day with peas. But know where stuff's from. So I mean, Birchwood Farm, it doesn't exist. There's Tesco's. There is no Birchwood Farm. It's just a processing plant that do like 30,000 unhappy chickens a minute. So go to your butcher, get something really good. Hopefully, people get inspired by the great stuff out here. I know I am perpetually. I always at this time as well. I raise a little glass to our founder, Mr. Josh Ozersky, without whom we wouldn't be here. Great man. His idea back in New York, and it was more about the American meat industry, which I've no problem with Americans or their food. I've got some here, but just the way that animals are bred for yield rather than for flavour, and that's just not. It's just diametrically what we're against. So I'm going to hand over in a minute. So normally, our good friend Christian does the stage here. He's done it for 7 years. He's now proving that he's not all just mouth. He's over there down with Mark O'Brien cooking just down on the quayside. So pop down and check. He can actually do it. He's chefing, real chef. So this year on Sunday we've got this man here, Barra Fitzgibbon, a good friend of mine. He's got a very different style, but it really works. He's been working out in Dublin with us, doing some demos out there. So I'm going to hand over. I just want to mention, so we've got a brand new kitchen here, which I think they're going to talk about in a minute. So this is you could cook for probably 200 covers on this. It's fantastic. But we've got some really nice bits of kit, particularly these. So these fire pits. I just want to mention them because they're kindly giving us these bits of kit, this here and this over here, which are amazing things. I'm not going to talk you through them, but I do know that they're giving a discount to anyone from Meatopia. I think that comes over socials or something. But so these are really cool. This is Mark's. Mark's made this. That's an amazing thing. Primo's here, great cooker. So I'm just going to leave you with the real people. Say thank you very much for coming. This is my favourite thing of the year. I just love seeing all you. I love seeing the happy faces, the stained T-shirts, hopefully a nice bit of merch, obviously. But I love it. I love the drink, the music, the long day, and just thank you all. Give yourself a big round of applause. Thank you for coming. And Barra.
Hello. How are we doing? Thank you very much. How are you guys keeping? You good? This is probably the best day of the weekend because Sunday is really cool. It's really quite calm and relaxed, and you're going to get amazing free food, free, delicious, tasty food if you hang here. Now, can I give a big shout out, please, from Matt Kemp? That is Meatopia Kemp. This gig doesn't happen without Matt Kemp, okay? So it's really important we give him a shout out. Now, Matt mentioned that I work in Dublin. Oh, by the way, these aren't cue cards. These are barbecue cards. That's it, by the way. I'm not a stand-up. Thank you. So basically, I want to talk about the stage because the stage is much bigger than the one in Dublin. The one in Dublin's a lot smaller, as Matt knows. And what I love about this stage is, first of all, the amount of kit. And I want to talk about the kit, if we can, briefly. This kit here is multifunctional, made from 90% reclaimed and reappropriated materials, this bit here, okay? And it's important to mention, I think, what Meatopia do about sustainability and about recycle. You know, first time this year, you'll notice if you're having a beer, raise your plastic glass. It's not plastic, is it? It's totally recyclable. So they're doing stuff. You know, it's the small little changes that matter. And I think it's really important. So a big clap, please, from Meatopia, little things that they're doing. But look, before we get our first king of barbecue on, I want to get the most extraordinary, gorgeous man on stage here briefly. Just talk about the kit here on stage. Come on, then. Lord Logs, Mr. Mark Parr. If you could just come on the stage for a second, Mark. I think this is working. Are we live? Are we live? Yeah. Come up here, dude. Because I think it's important to kind of recognize, if you actually stand over here, because there's a camera on you, you're on Facebook, Instagram, all those other bits. Yeah, it's over there.
Hello, hello.
See it there.
Can you hear me?
There.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear?
We need a bit of sound.
Bit more sound on the handheld,
Yes, thank
please. Mark, talk to us about this bit of kit here first, please.
Right, we got it. Here we go.
You're live.
I am the urban woodman. See, I've got a handbag and 2 axes. So, you know, we're good. I'll just put these away. They're dangerous, especially the handbag. First thing first, hello, Meatopia. This is our... Well, we started here in 2013. Who's been from the beginning? Yeah? Who was I here last year? Cool. Well, we're getting more. So, first things I'd like to do, would you do me a favour? Because this is like a big family. Would you like to turn to the people next to you and introduce yourself? And say hello? Yeah?
Yeah.
Handshakes, come on, talk. Yeah. That's it.
You could say peace be with you. Is that too much?
Okay. Okay. So, this is the free food bit. Now, when we do these events and we give out free food...
Yeah, in about 5 minutes. Can we talk about the kit?
Yeah, hold on. When we give out free food, that person next to you might get a bit elbowy. So now you know each other. You can say, "Hey, Steve, Janet, calm down." Okay. So anyway, I digress. So this bit of kit here. So we do lots of demos on the stage. You can see a whole list here. There's some amazing people here, and there is some amazing people. Marcus Bawdon. He's a legend in the barbecue world. He's been here right since the beginning. So what we like to do is we like to have a piece of kit that we can cook everything on. So this year, we designed this bit of kit. This has been in my head for 4 years, trapped like a bumblebee in a greenhouse, and I eventually got it out, and so here it is now. What we did is we made this from pieces of metal that were left over from other projects. So we kept them, and eventually we had enough stuff to build this kit. So for instance, this piece here, this is made from a flat sheet of stainless steel that was going to scrap. With computer technology, we essentially created a parts list. So it's like a jigsaw, which is then cut out with an abrasive water jet cutter. Are you with me still? Which runs during the night when it's really low energy. So the other thing about being water jet, there's no emissions come off it when it's cutting. So it's a really clean cutting bit of technology. And essentially, I hope this doesn't fall apart, but this all pulls apart. So it's a really simple bit of kit. So it means the chef here, who is Matt Cross from Crossfire.
Big shout out for Matt, actually, because he'll be working all day on the
Matt,
stage.
you can't hide out. He's hiding. Matt, come. So Matt became part of the Meatopia family. We met through Instagram. It's not a dating app, but you can use it like that. Matt is married. And we met and we invited Matt to come up, and he's now become part of our family. So he's now supporting all the chefs here, so he'll be cooking. Keep an eye on him. If he starts going over a little bit, he needs a sun hat on or something. So so they'll be doing that. So essentially, as you can see, we've got a fire pit here. We have grills. We have hanging racks. We have all sorts of stuff. And then just on the back here, you see these beautiful pans. They're made by an English blacksmith called Alex Pole. And they are amazing. He's in the craft area there. So they're handmade English pans with a hand-forged handle, which is great to see that sort of stuff being made in the UK again. And what with Brexit, we might need to be making our own pans.
Maybe.
So,
Mark, let's bring you over here.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this bit of kit here.
This bit of kit is nice.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, 5-bit juice cut. I nearly did something really stupid. But I did something stupid earlier. While I was getting ready, I put my shorts on the barbecue. I don't recommend it, yeah? So, yeah, I've now got hot pants on. But Is that too much information?
What was the joke King came out with? Liar, liar, pants on.
On Mark, yeah. Anyway, so basically, we've seen a lot of new bits of kit. I mean, most people, who's got a charcoal barbecue here? Yeah? A gas barbecue? Ooh. Don't worry, it's all right, mate, don't worry. Yeah, no, he's here. No, it's good. As long as everyone's together, convening, eating together, that's the first healthy, happy part. But there's a lot more fire cooking going on, and there's a lot more many more things available. This is one of them. So this is made from a flat sheet, which is spun into this dome, and essentially, I won't cook this tea towel. Well, I could.
Now, I want to just interrupt you briefly, guys. If you like this bit of kit, this comes from Fire Pits UK, okay?
Yeah.
And there is a 20% discount off now on social media for Meatopia guests.
That's the most commercial thing we've ever done. But it's a good deal, isn't it, really? I would have one. So basically,
I was told to do that,
as you can see that, it swivels in. And each one of these has got a grill or a plancher and a grill. And it does three things, and essentially it does one thing, which is cook. So there you go. So we've got lots of bits of kit today.
Talk about this.
Ceramic. Anyone got a ceramic barbecue? Yeah? What have you got, sir? A green egg? Anyone else? There you go. So there's lots. What have you got, sir? There you go. He's got everything. It's got a gas grill and a green egg. There you go. He's from...
Now, just another commercial advertising, Primo Grills, and you can see them in the Quayside Hall.
There you go. So if you don't know what one of these is, it's based on a bit of old ancient Japanese technology from about 400 years ago. I'll be right, Marcus? Called a komodo. Basically, it's like a clay pot with a lid with fire inside. Is that simple enough? Yeah, and it cooks really well. But the thing is, they keep the moisture so you can slow cook. Has anyone here cooked brisket before? Yeah, it's quite a tough thing, a hard thing to do, isn't it?
Quite divisive as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder why people start at the hardest thing and try and work down. Start with a sausage. That's what I'm saying, work your way up. Start with something that starts half an hour, then go up to an hour, and then follow until you get to 8-hour brisket. So that's a good guide.
That one was it.
And then one last thing here, every bit of wood, every bit of charcoal here comes through us. And the reason is that we take great care, because we think it's a response and you know, the right thing to do. And so all
So
the wood...
the wood and the charcoal is ethically sourced, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of thinking goes into that.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's
basically ethically sourced. We don't steal it. Yeah. So no, we have harvesting in the UK, and we cut the wood under license, and we cut between Halloween and Easter. Any ideas why? Halloween's the scariest time. No, we cut between Halloween and Easter because there's no nesting birds in the woodlands. So and then we kiln dry it with boilers that are zero waste. So everything that we produce goes into the boilers. So that basically it's a whole zero waste process. And then it's kiln dried to below 20%. And that gives us a piece of a license, which is now legislation, which is called Woodshaw and ready to burn. So if you go and buy wood anywhere, make sure you see that on there, because that's the commitment that we've made. And it's now legislation. So wood in the garage, a lot of soft wood in the garage forecourt, I would avoid if you can, please. Thank you. And then charcoal here. There's not a tree cut down specially to make charcoal here. It's all trimmings of an onward going production to keep the trees in good health. The average tree that we trim the wood off is 400 years old. So it's an endless cycle. So you'll see the charcoal here and the wood here we use is from good, reliable sources. And we go to our charcoal makers. We know who makes it, where they make it, how far it's travelled.
Yeah.
Because much like the meat you eat here, you know, the pasture-fed meat, we know the farmers, and I think the traceability is really, really important. And it's available. You know, now it's much easier to buy. We can buy it online.
Now, we could do a whole session with Mark, but I can see hungry faces. So I think we might move on. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, please, for Lord Logg's Mark Parr.
Thank you.
Give me a love. Give me a love. Give me a love. Okay. So, listen, a little bit from me. This is the cutting room stage. Where there is a live demo, this is where you need to be, okay? We have 6 live demos today. 2 Kings of Barbecue, a very royal affair. One from here in the UK, the other from Atlanta, Georgia. We've got chefs, Pinoy Canadian, we'll find out. Singapore, Dallas, Texas, Wales, Mumbai, India. And your MC, Irish. So it's a real international affair, okay? A proper international lineup. Now these guys, these chefs that you're going to see and witness and what they cook and what you taste, bonkers talented. I've been doing this gig for 3 years, and every single year I come here, I'm surprised yet again by what these guys do. They're the creators of the finest food. They're innovators. They're challenging the industries they work in with sustainability. This is important. Sustainability, the beating heart of what they do. Their main driving force, just like Meatopia. And these live demos, they offer you guys the chance to learn. I'm learning as much as you guys, yeah? I know nothing about what goes on up here. And I want to see me as the mouthpiece. If you've got a question, put your hand up. I'll come to you with the handheld mic. Learn here. It's a real opportunity to learn and see one-on-one what these guys are actually doing, what they're achieving. So if you've got a question, put your hand up. Feel free to get involved. And actually, the more you get involved, the better the show. Right, less from me. Who wants live demo number 1? Let's try that again. Who wants live demo number 1? Right. This guy, a real personality on the UK barbecue scene. Editor of the UK BBQ magazine and writer of the amazing CountryWoodSmoke blog. I've only had one beer. And author of the stunning book, Food and Fire, you can see here placed on the table. Roll out the red for the king of barbecue here in the UK, Marcus Bawdon.
Thank you, mate.
Hey, buddy.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you. I'm absolutely buzzing to be here today. It's amazing. It's amazing.
You're a fan of Meatopia?
I am a massive fan. It's been a few years, though, so it's good to be back. Really
Were you
good
here for
to
the
be
first
back.
one? Or the
I
first
was
one?
here for the very first one, and it had a massive influence on me as a cook and as a person. So seeing people like Dario Cecchini do his amazing demo, it was wonderful. Don't know if anyone remembers that one. It was, I mean, that guy is a legend, and he inspired me hugely. So, yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So were you privileged enough to meet Josh Ozerski, one of the founding members of
Yeah,
Meatopia in
only
America?
very briefly. So obviously he was very, very big here. So yeah, sadly, but again,
Sadly
massive influence, and guys like that massively inspire people like me. So
Now, I'm going to challenge you guys, okay? What I want you to do is try and think of a question for this guy that might be able to catch him out. Something about barbecue that maybe you guys know that he doesn't know. I mean, I doubt it, but have a go. If you do catch him out, I'll buy you a beer. Okay?
probably easily done, but
Now, before we start, let's get into it. Let's get to know you a little bit. Was there a life before barbecuing for you?
absolutely. So I was a vegetarian for 14 years. So back when I was a student, you couldn't get good quality meat in the mid-90s. It was Tesco value, I remember, as a student, was all I could afford, and I decided
Other
not to.
supermarkets are available, by the way.
Yeah. I could, I couldn't afford the good quality stuff, so I didn't eat it. So it took a while to come back into it, and then a magical ribeye steak that I saw in a butcher's was literally the thing that drew me back into it. So
Do you know, because that's really interesting what you said there, and it was so off the cuff, because it wasn't quality enough, you didn't eat it.
yeah,
And that's what Meatopia is all about, isn't it? It's not about eating loads and loads and loads of meat. It's about eating better meat, but less
better
of it.
meat, quality, absolutely, absolutely, and that's something I really stand by. I value the meat I feed myself and my family and my friends when they come around to a barbecue. So I really care about that sustainability, quality meat.
I mean, 14 years is a long time to be.
It was too long.
What was the light bulb moment? What made you gradually get back into eating
It
meat?
was that a beautiful ribeye steak on in a butcher, seeing that and thinking it just screamed to me to cook me, and then literally I wanted to explore it, and it's everything since has been my journey back into meat and loving it. I love it. It's 14 years is a long time without, so I had a lot of catching up to do. So
When did you start to show an interest in specifically barbecuing then?
pretty much straight away. So yeah, barbecuing sort of jumped out at me as the way to cook meat for large family. I started having family of my own and wanting to cook for family and friends, and barbecue is the way forward. I was fed up of flipping sausages and burgers and things, so I started looking into bigger cuts, cooked like a whole pig on a spit sort of 10 years ago, and yeah, that was amazing. So
Now, you say that you feel, which I love about you, is you feel that you have a duty to share.
absolutely,
That's what I love about Marcus. He really believes in sharing his
Yeah.
knowledge with everybody else.
yeah.
Like all the chefs here today. But
I
it's-
never hold anything back. If people want to know something about barbecue, I'll always share everything. So, I mean, that's what the book was about, was helping people on that journey, because a lot of people struggle. So I run classes for beginners down in Devon, and so many people say, why hasn't somebody told me how to do this? Even basic techniques like setting, direct, indirect zones and the lid on. People say to me, why has nobody told us this? And I think there's a lot that's being held back that could be shared more. So
When Marcus is finished today, you can continue to engage with him because he actually does a blog, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, CountryWoodSmoke. So that's been going 9-10 years now. So yeah.
What do you do on that blog? Is it podcasting? Is it talking about stuff? What?
I've got YouTube videos that I do, CountryWoodSmoke. I do recipes. I do sort of reviews of equipment and kit. And yeah, I just want to, you know, the UK barbecue scene 10 years ago there wasn't really one. So it's been great to see the last sort of, you know, 5-6 years it really grow. And you know, hopefully I've had a little part in that and done my bit. And that's what it's all about, is sharing and cooking and enjoying family times and friends, you know, being outdoors. That's simply what it is for me. So
Who's hungry? Let's start to cook.
absolutely.
Let's start
Right,
to cook. Let's get
yeah.
into it.
So what this is today, sorry, you were going to...
No, because I just go with it. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Let me know, because
Okay.
I know nothing, and I'm presuming these guys know maybe more than me, actually.
So normally when you cook a steak, for example, I love steak, it's amazing. And one of the golden rules with steak is to let it rest, yeah? You know, it's hard sometimes because, you know, it's this beautiful steak that you've cooked and you want to get into it straight away, but it's important to let it rest. So
Why is it important to let it rest?
okay, so when you cook on a hot surface, you know, whatever, straight in the coals or on here, the heat takes a while just to settle out because you've got all the heat and it moves from the outside to the inside. So it's important just to let that stabilise. It makes the meat juicier. But it's quite a passive process, isn't it? Resting, you put it there on a plate and leave it, and it's quite, you know, for me, that's another opportunity to add more flavour at that point. That's what I'm looking at, opportunities to add flavour. And barbecuing is, that for me, that's what makes barbecuing is amazing, because you've got all those layers of flavour that you just can't get in an indoor kitchen, I believe. So you've got the meat itself, you've got the seasonings, you've got the smoke and the sear, and then when you let it rest, you've got another opportunity then to hit it with some more flavour. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is resting stuff, but taking it to another level.
Well, let's start getting into it.
Okay, so I'm going to start and reverse things, because I've got pineapple here for my pudding, and that's going to take a while to cook. So I'm just going to prep that up a little bit.
Okay.
And
Now, how's the pineapple is being served as the pudding?
yeah,
But these guys are expecting steak, not pudding. So how's that going to work?
absolutely. Well, this is going to be the last thing, because it's the biggest. It takes the longest to cook. So I'm just going to cook a whole pineapple and then serve that. So when you're cooking and catering and cooking for lots of people, you're going to think, what things are going to take the longest to cook? And you start those first. So because this is going to take probably 20 minutes or so, I'm just going to start that off first.
What meat is this going to accompany?
It's the pudding. So
So there's no meat being accompanied with this. This
not
is
with
literally
this
going
one.
to be.
This is the end. So
But you're barbecuing this.
yes.
Okay. So you're going to get pudding as well, guys. Did you know that?
So I'm popping that just in there. So on the indirect side, so away from the coals, just to cook slowly. 20 or 30 minutes that should be. So that'll be towards the end of our lovely demo.
Right. Talk to me about the cuts of meat that we're using.
Okay, so I think Matt's got all the meat there. So just get rid of that one.
Can we put our hands together again, please, from Matt?
I will go for, I think they're going to be slightly
The unsung
longer.
heroes
So,
never get the, you know what I mean?
so
Always these celebrities that are really, you know.
I have some lovely meat here, which is very important. And again, I'm thinking reverse. So I've got these amazing pork chops here, Turner and George thick cut pork chops. And
Did you guys get to see that? Have you seen that?
there you go, lovely. So,
In relation to these particular steaks, you know, is it dry aged, marbling? Get into those terms for us. What are these?
okay, so these are pork chops and on the bone. So that's the I guess the baby back there. So normally that would be along the spine, along down there, and that's the nice juicy bit of chop that sits on. So basically like your ribeye, if it's beef, and it's got a nice bit of fat on there. So all I'm going to do is just score that fat a little bit.
Should we just have a look? Let's see if we can, because the camera's on you there. Let's see your hands working.
There we go.
Can I put that?
Yeah, hang on, I need those.
Don't take the meat away, he
No,
says.
come back with my meat.
So this is starting with pork. Are we moving on to beef, or have you started?
Yeah, so these are going to take just a little bit longer than the steaks that I'm going to do in a minute. So I'm going to start these off, and Matt's going to cook these for me. And I'm just scoring the fat there, just so that it starts to render out and crisp up, and it doesn't sort of curl up. So doing that.
Well, that actually stops the fat cutting over the actual body
Yeah,
of
so
the meat.
it'll curl up. If you leave it together, it'll just curl up and sort of twist the chop. So
Okay. Where are you sourcing this meat? Where is this more? Is this all Turner and George
This
meat?
is all
today?
Turner and George,
Okay.
yeah.
But talk to me a little bit about sourcing meat as you cook. Talk to me a bit, where are you getting your meat from when you're back down in Dorset or
Devon.
Devon?
Yeah, yeah.
And where you're sourcing it from, and is it ethically sourced, and how you do that kind of
Yeah,
sustainability?
so like I said before, I won't eat meat that is not well sourced, well raised. It doesn't have to necessarily be organic, just well sourced, well raised, not in a big factory or something, you know. And I choose my local butchers. I'm very lucky down in Devon. We've got some great meat, and I always work with a good butcher, somebody who cares about meat. For me, they understand the story of where that meat's come from, and that means more to me, knowing that I know where that meat's come from.
Let's cook. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. So I'm going to pop a little bit of dry rub on these.
Okay, just explain what's happening there.
So
What is the dry rub?
Dry rub is my mocha rub, so CountryWoodSmoke mocha rub. Other rubs are available, but this is mine.
But this is the best.
Yeah. So just a light sprinkle of this. So this is just adding seasoning to it.
What's in that? What are the different flavours that are coming out of that?
This is normally one I do for beef, actually. It's got coffee, chocolate, cumin, chipotle spice, but I found it works really well with pork as well. So yeah.
Well, we'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I mean, it looks good.
And it works with the strong flavours on this dish. So what I'm going to be doing with this dish is cooking these and then resting them with andouille butter charcoal melt,
Okay.
which is in there
Okay.
if needs.
Let's
So I've got these lovely ones. Matt's going to
Bless
look
Matt.
after these
So
for
guys,
me.
you're more than welcome to stand up and have a look at this bit closer if you want, but the meat obviously going on the
There we
grill.
go. I'm trying to, so the heat's over this side of the grill. I'm putting the fat over, so it's facing that heat, so the fat will crisp up a little bit more. So if you're happy to look after those, I'm looking for 63 degrees C internal on those, which is the nice cook temperature for pork.
Which brings me nicely onto this instrument.
Yes.
Can we talk about this?
Yeah, yeah.
Who's got one of them? You see, you're all too good. I'm just saying, at this point, they all know their stuff. Those who don't know.
I have a lot of beginners come on my barbecue classes, and the first thing I say to them is get one of those. It gives you confidence, it gives you controllability and precision when you cook. And I think anyone, you see a lot of the guys here use them, and it just gives you that extra level of confidence to know that your food's cooked correctly, safely and well.
Okay. Moving on to the next meat then. Can we start cooking the next meat?
Yeah, yeah, cool.
So talk us through what the next bit of meat is
it
that we are...
disappeared. There we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
That's the one I want. So this is probably about, I struggle with cuts of meat, which is my favourite. And people always say, oh, what's your favourite cut of steak? What's your favourite cut of beef? And it's like choosing...
Plastic tray. That's a plastic tray in the fire.
What is it? Cool. Okay, I'll put them there.
Nicely done,
thought it
Matt.
was
Thank you.
I thought it was a metal one, but well caught.
There was a near melting accident there. None of you
Yeah.
saw that.
Okay, so yeah, people usually ask, what's your favourite cut of steak? And it's like choosing a favourite child. Sometimes they're all beautiful. They've all got their own characteristics that I enjoy. Big fan of ribeye, sirloin on the bone, but especially a fan of hanger steak. And
Talk to us about hanger steak then, because I don't think I've ever heard of hanger steak for the first time. So what cut is that?
So basically it's the diaphragm of the cow, and as it breathes, it's what pulls it, so it hangs inside the carcass, and normally it's one of the it's classed as an offal technically, so the butchers often have it out and save it for themselves, so it's often known as the butcher's steak, because quite often you'll go to the butcher and say, I want a hanger steak. It's nice and cheap, it's about £8 to £10 a kilo,
Yeah.
and he'll say, no, I haven't got it, mate, sorry. And you know he's had it for his tea, because it's that good, it's that cheap, he'll have kept it back for himself, so that's why they call it the butcher's steak.
So there's a nice tip. Hanger steak, everybody. Everybody get a good look at that?
Yeah, it's
You
beautiful.
all see that?
It's not your most beautiful steak. I mean, you compare it to a nice sort of bone-in ribeye or sirloin, it's not as beautiful. It's got a very strong grain to it, like through there, so you've got to cut it across the grain when you finish cooking, which we'll do. It's not got a lot of fat, but it actually works really well for cooking it dirty straight on the coals, which is what we're going to be doing here. So that's been done before here quite a bit, cooking straight on the coals. Has anyone tried that? We got any dirty barbecuers? Yeah.
Dirty, filthy barbecue.
How do you like it? Does it work for you? Yeah. Normally people go, ugh, you cooked it straight on the coals. it's going to get ashy and gritty. But if you use really good quality charcoal, lumpwood charcoal, embers of a hardwood fire, so silver birch and oak we've got in here, then you actually get some nice clean embers. And hopefully you'll be surprised at how undirty it is when it's cooking. So
Are you rubbing anything onto this steak?
nothing at all
Okay.
at this moment.
So what's your opinion there? Just does it need it? It tastes that delicious?
If you put salt on there, for example, like a rub on first, that will start to draw the moisture out, and that will then have to boil off the moisture. Oil will just burn on it, so if I put an oil marinade on it straight away, that would just burn, so I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
So
Let's get
straight
sizzling.
on.
Let's get sizzling.
Okay,
Gosh, if you weren't hungry, you're hungry now.
so a quick, like that, and
Sorry
that
about that,
gets
guys.
those embers just nice and hot and clean, and you go straight on there.
Guys, more than welcome to stand up and have a look if you need to. Like when he said straight onto the charcoal, I actually didn't know he was actually going straight onto the charcoal. I thought you were going to go on these little kind of swishy pan
No,
stuff.
no,
Love it.
straight on.
No.
This has been done quite before, hasn't it, I think, here, so yeah. Yeah.
He did an afterburn, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
On the chimney.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, be careful of the heat, guys. Health and safety. How are they looking? Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
this is quite a big technique in like South American stuff, riscaldo cooking straight in the coals. And it's nice because you put it on and you leave it. You don't mess with it. I'm not going to fiddle with this at all. And actually it's going to take quite a bit longer than you expect. So I'm quite relaxed
But does
about
that not
this.
depend? Does that not depend how you want your steak?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you want it really rare,
Yeah.
you're going to be two sides really quick. What, minute on each side, and that's it.
No, not really. You'll be surprised by this. It's quite slow.
So how long on each side do you think it needs?
So I think these don't need to be cooked more than mediums because they'll tighten up. Meat tightens up. Those fibres will tighten up. So if I cook those past medium, they're going to be quite tough. So I'm looking for about medium rare for these.
Everybody happy with that bit of medium rare steak? Yeah? Nobody wants well done, no? Is that a swear word?
So I'm going to be making up something to go with this.
Is this the bone marrow?
This is the bone marrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys, I want you to see this instrument. You're going to check this instrument out? Not his own personal instrument, that's something else. Maybe if you come back about 9 o'clock tonight, we'll show you that.
So I've got some bone marrow here, big fan of it. Quite often you see like compound butters on beef, on steaks when it's resting. You know, people will mix some herbs and garlic with butter, but you're adding a buttery flavour then, which I think takes away from the beefy flavour. So I'm going to use some bone marrow, and I'm going to use that as a base on these steaks to add, keep adding that beefy flavour. I'm going to mix this so it scoops out lovely. They call this God's butter.
So you just source this from your butchers?
Yeah, yeah. Just ask the butcher, and he'll, you know, if you're lucky, they'll cut it. A lot of butchers say, "Oh, I'm not cutting that." So you just scoop it out like that.
Brilliant. Obviously, wash your fingers.
Yeah, it's wonderful stuff. So roasted off, spread on sourdough bread. I love it. I've seen quite a lot of guys doing it this year. There was a bone marrow burger, I think, and I've seen people walking around with both roasted bone marrows.
Oh, it looks stunning.
Yeah.
It looks stunning. And how is this served? And do you serve this as a dripping, or how does it work? So it comes down.
It's going to be a baste at the end. So I've got my stick there that I'm going to show you, but it's basically a baste. So I'm a big fan of basting rather than marinading.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does that mean there's little prep? As in, there's not marinating going on, so you don't have to prep the meat
Yeah,
so
you don't
much.
have to prep it. So a baste is as you're cooking. A sauce is finishing. Baste is while you're cooking. Marinade is before you get started. So
Okay.
I've got some of this lovely bone marrow in there. See that?
So you go, adding some garlic,
Yeah. Going to add a bit of garlic to it.
just to help with the flavour.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some flat leaf parsley. A little bit of thyme.
Rosemary and thyme.
And a bit of rosemary, a bit of sea salt and
Perfect.
pepper.
Yeah.
And you notice I'm not stressing too much about those steaks. People always want to move them, fiddle with them, play with them. A little bit of pepper in there.
Let them rest. So rest while they're cooking and rest when you take them off.
Yeah.
I'm getting this. I'm
Yeah.
figuring it out now. I'm getting this. I'm getting it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Cool.
Yeah,
This-
what pan is that? Just talk about that pan that you just put the bone marrow on.
I don't know, it's a lovely little.
But it's a cute one. It's a
cute.
big hot curve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most delicate for little old delicate me. So
Okay.
I'm just putting that in the embers, and that's going to tick away lovely and melt. So you were asking about that earlier.
Well, I know what that is.
Yeah.
But it's the other thing I wanted to ask about. Because that's a piece of wood. But go on, tell
Yeah,
us more.
it's a bit of wood.
You think it's just a bit of wood, but
I've spent endless hours scraping out a little sort of bit in there like that, a little pot in there. So what I'm going to do is catch this on fire, and then I'm going to put some of that bone marrow and burn it onto the steaks when they're resting. So kind of like that bit I was showing you earlier. This.
you're not actually going to use this.
No, I'm not going to use this one.
Well,
This is the cheap West Country. These are quite
Where is
expensive.
it? Who's seen one of these before?
I know you
No.
know what it is. That's called a flambadoo.
Yeah, go on. You know what it is?
Sorry. Yeah, that's right. And who was it? Nicholas Ekstead, I think, did it a couple of years ago. Was that right? Hot bone marrow, or was it dripping, I think, on oysters? Yeah, like this. You get this red hot, and you put the fat in there, and it drips.
Marcus asked me what I thought it was, and I thought it was, the candle, they take candles
Snuffers.
out.
So flambadoo, flamboise lard.
They got them in the Vatican.
And actually, it's an ancient sort of European. We used to do like big bits of meat in front of the fire, and we baste them with hot fat to crisp up the crackling, to keep the venison moist. So that's actually an amazing ancient bit of kit to cook with. This is my, I guess, my cheapy West Country,
Clever
woody. Yeah. So hopefully that's going to do the same thing.
But I think that's a recipe for success. You're the kind of guy that chips away at that wood for hours on end. That's why he's so good at what he does. Does that make sense? Because I wouldn't have the patience for it.
Okay, right, tongs.
So what are we doing with food? How are we doing, guys? Because these
Lots
guys
of
are getting
tongs,
hungry. Are we
mate.
serving up? Are we 5 minutes away from serving up?
Yeah, 5 minutes. So
5 minutes, guys. You can hold on for another 5.
okay,
Won't be
so
long.
I'm going to start to flip and turn and see how we're doing with these steaks. As you can see, there's a little hanger on there, but that's quite a nice little sear there on that. Yeah. You see that?
Beautiful, yeah. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful.
So it's not actually that dirty at all, really. There we go. It's got a nice sear, nice bit of colour to it. You get the odd little bit that hangs on, but I'm not too worried about that.
Is this why there's no place for gas? Because you just can never repeat.
There we go.
There's no place for gas because you can never repeat the effects that the charcoal does, really, can you?
Gas is, I think it's easy. A lot of people choose it for convenience, and that's okay. For me, it's all about just getting people outdoors cooking, but you will never ever get this flavour with gas. You can chuck bits of wood in and get a little bit of smoke in a gas barbecue, but you will never ever get this level of flavour on a gas barbecue. So,
How do you know when the barbecue is done?
depends what barbecue it is. I mean, I've done this lot, so how this meat's ready, I'm going to check the temperature of this, and it should be 5 minutes or so.
So guys, if you're barbecuing, you definitely need to get yourself the temperature gauge. I mean, I know a lot of hands went up, but you really need one. That's the lesson I've learned today.
So you can see it's lovely sear. Has everyone had a look at that?
Pull one up and have a
Yeah.
look at it again.
So that's a nice sear on there. It's not an aggressive way of cooking, it's quite relaxing. You can cook food for a lot of people like this, and actually it's quite relaxing, chilled out, no bother. For me, that's what it's all about. That's why I love Sundays here. It's a relaxing time. For me, barbecue should be a relaxing time. Make it easy on yourself, less stress, you know. The food's ready when it's ready, so...
I mean, it does help having a pit this big, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The more space you've got, the better.
I mean, you could do, how many steaks are you doing? I mean, quite a few, but you could do another 20 steaks. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can, just sit there, chuck them on, show your friends what to do, your family what to do, chuck them on, and then, carry on all day. I mean, for me, it's not about having bang one big meal ready. It's about nice glass of wine, chop some of this up, show your mates how to do it. That's, for me, that's the relaxing element of it.
Do we need to get server plates up here? Do we need to start thinking about getting
Yeah.
the pork out to these guys? Libby, brilliant. Only a matter of minutes, guys.
So this bone marrow's starting to render down.
If anybody has a
That's
question
lovely.
while you're waiting for the meat to come out, please put your hand up. This is the chance to pick this guy's brain, yeah?
So I'm
be
going
shy.
to check the temperature of a couple of these are a little bit skinnier than the others. So there's some big ones and some little skinnier ones. I'm just going to check that temperature there, And that's perfect. So that's 50 degrees. So that's going to carry on going up a few degrees. So I'm going to take that one off now.
Beautiful. Do you do this out of your way? We don't need this today, do we?
No.
Okay, so what are we serving? Are we serving the steaks first?
Yeah, the steaks will be first. Okay.
How good does that look and smell? Oh my God. Can I have a taste?
So I've put no salt on it yet, nothing really. So I'm going to start a little bit of salt going on it.
When you're cooking the steak on the barbecue there, are you crisping the fat? Is that what's happening there?
There's not really any fat on these. They're
But
not
in
a
general, if
fatty-
you are cooking a steak, the idea is to crisp it.
Yeah, and to sear, get a nice seared crust on the outside. That's what we're looking for really. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm letting that rest. That's off the grill now. It's going to taste really nice, but I think it just needs something more. So
Out comes the marrow.
yeah. So I'm getting this nice and hot. This thing.
So what
here.
you're doing with that piece of wood that you've been digging at, you're
Yeah.
actually burning that wood.
I'm burning it. Yeah.
Okay. What's the
So-
logic there? Is that temperature of the heat of the wood?
It's gonna get up to temperature and it's gonna melt this fat, this bone marrow, onto that steak as it's resting and drip it with hot, lovely basted.
I'm salivating, Marcus. Can we just can we get going?
Yeah.
Is it looking good?
Just getting that a bit hotter.
And what mixture of taste should we be expecting? Because what you've done here is you put this. Yeah, I mean that's. So what the marrow here now is going on the wood and it's just sizzling up. It's absolutely stunning, guys. You want to come and have a look? I mean, you'll see it here when we bring it onto here. I mean, that wood's almost on fire.
Yeah, that's what I'm after.
Yeah.
So I do want it just to catch, which it will in a minute. So hot fat. Fat is a fuel, so you add more fuel on it and it'll smoke and then it'll catch. So I'm just looking for this to catch and get really hot, which it will do.
And when these guys taste the steak, which they'll do very, very, look how eager they are. Do you guys reckon you could try this at home? Definitely, right? Definitely, right? You keep it so simple, Marcus. That's what I love. It's kept so simple. It's, you know, I don't see anything here that I think to myself, I just couldn't do this at home. I
That's
couldn't
what
do it in my own
barbecue
back garden.
should be. It's accessible. Should be accessible. How are those pork chops doing? Are they?
Now I've got a theory. I think this guy could be your perfect desert island friend. He could be, couldn't he?
I'd eat all the food though. So.
Well, I'm trying to think what I could do. I could play the guitar and sing and wash dishes. But that's about it.
Okay, so that's just. I'm going to take that other one off a minute as well. So.
Okay, so the meat coming off the charcoal now, and we're going to start serving, guys. I think very, very shortly.
Yeah.
Make sure you're sitting on a bench. You'll get food. For everybody there at the back. People will shunt up, I'm sure.
There we go. That's what I'm after. It's just
Dum
caught
dum.
on flame there. I've got some gloves somewhere. Where's my glove gone?
You got one glove in one hand, but not a glove in the
There we
other
go.
hand.
No, that's what I want there.
Now, guys, I will want opinions of this delicious food. You can't sit here and eat food and not have opinions. You got a question? 1 second. Can we go?
Okay, so
Love a
I've
question. Hang on, Marcus,
popped
1
my
second.
bit of bone marrow on there.
Pay attention to Marcus. Ignore me.
Oh,
We got a question, Marcus. 1 second. What's your name?
Phoebe,
Where are you from?
today from Guernsey,
Not always from Guernsey.
New Zealand originally.
What's your question?
I had a question about the cooking on direct coals. If I were to give it a go and it didn't go very well and it did get mucky, how would you fix that?
how would I?
How would you fix if the meat gets messy with the charcoal?
It doesn't really. I don't know if you've seen. It's hardly anything on there. There's a tiny little bit of ash on there. Nothing.
Well, I think
nothing
what
really.
people-
You could brush it off with the base. So you could brush the base on there, and that would brush it off. Herbs and garlic and things would just clean it up a little bit. But actually, there's nothing really on it. So
I think Phoebe's asking if things went wrong, but you're saying you could wipe it away with a herb, or you could.
yeah. Brush it away. You know, a nice basting brush, and brush it away with a baste, and yeah, no problem at all. So.
Trust the base. Thanks very much.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Oh, hello. How you doing? What's that you're drinking? Not good. Shh. What's your name?
Margit,
Where are you from?
Belgium.
Welcome. Are you here on a little holiday?
So
A little.
Enjoying yourself? Okay, what's your question for Marcus? Sorry, Marcus, I know you're serving up. We'll get back on the stage after this one question. Go for it.
Marcus, why are you wearing shirts like that?
Sorry?
Why are you wearing a Hawaiian shirt like that?
So, in the early days of me getting really into barbecuing, you have a nice bit of barbecue, something pulled pork roll, and you drip it down your shirt. With a Hawaiian shirt, you never ever notice it's there. So if you wear a nice white shirt like that gentleman there, all sorts of stains. So he'll learn.
Great question. Right, what's happening here? Talk to me.
Okay, so I'm burning that stick. So this is silver birch here, and it's just I'm just rendering this fat out. I can get a little another bit there. Rendering this out, and it should start dripping hot fat on there. You can see it sizzling.
It's dripping now.
And it's dripping now, there we go. So this is adding an extra little layer of fat onto there.
Okay.
When you do this in public, it never ever goes the same as when you do it at home. It's guaranteed. That is one of the rules.
I think it's going very
demo.
well. I think it's, isn't it? Give Marcus a clap of
It's just starting to drip.
Under pressure as well.
Yeah. And you can carry on like that. So these steaks will be rested for 5 to 10 minutes. And it's just dripping. You can see it's dripping away because the fat is fuel. So
yeah. So what are we serving up first, guys? What are we going to be?
So these steaks here will
Beautiful.
be going on. So and you can mash it around. You can do what you want really. So one of the other things I do is to put a bit of hot charcoal on, like that. And you can put that onto the steak like that, and that will get the bone marrow, the butter, that will get that going as well. So it's just adding that extra level of flavour.
So that question about Phoebe, you were asking how, if it got mucky, what would you do?
Yeah.
I don't think you do anything.
Mucky's dirty.
He's putting
it's great.
charcoal on it like that, and it's staying there, and it's going to be delicious, I reckon.
Yeah. So I'm going to check these guys. They should be just about done.
All done. We need to start slicing.
Yeah. And they are ready to go. And what I'm going to do with this little lot, I've had this bubbling away.
Put your hand up if
here.
you want some steak. Now you see. Well, I asked who had a question. No hands went up.
I've had this bubbling away here, and I call this my bone marrow hot tub. And all I'm going to do is just pour the whole blimmin' lot
Anybody else got a vision now of what I've got?
over,
Him in a hot tub with bone marrow.
over that steak. So that's had garlic in it, thyme, rosemary, flat leaf parsley, and that's just added that bone marrow flavour all over that. So I'm going to chop these up and...
Smells. Let's go. Let's get these people fed. Come on.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's up for some of this? Who likes bone marrow? Cool.
While you're doing that, let me ask you a question. What's the most exotic thing you've ever cooked in a barbecue?
Probably a whole pig's head, I think, is the thing I've... the strangest thing I've cooked, the whole pig's head, and it was amazing. It was very fatty, so there was fat flying everywhere. So...
There's a spare seat here if anybody wants to get it. I'm telling you now, this is going to go quick. And I can't see it going past row 3.
So look at that. That's perfectly cooked, nice and rare to medium rare. There's bits that are a bit more rare, bits that are a bit more medium. I'm happy with that.
MC privilege.
There you go, have a taste of that.
Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That is absolutely, yeah.
Is that tasty?
Yeah.
Can you taste the bone marrow on it?
Yeah. It's just full of flavour. It's full of flavour, and it's cooked to perfection. Like, I wouldn't say that's medium rare. Would you say that's medium rare?
There's bits that are rare, there's bits that are medium rare. It's hard because it's, you know, you look at that and there's a thinner bit and a fatter bit. So, you know, it's, you pick, you know, the bit you like.
Okay. Suddenly guys are here just
Hang a
standing
steak.
randomly looking for steak.
Yeah, just leave it there for a minute and
That
then
is
I'll
called
do-
hanging steak. Yeah. So it comes from the diaphragm area. Go for it, guys. I think whoever asked a question deserves a bit of meat. Let's save a little bit for Phoebe there at the back, and save a bit for Marguerite as well. In fact, make your way up here. Make your way up here, and I'll make sure you get a bit. Oh my God, there's a...
So just chop up these.
No elbows, please. This is not a Ryanair flight. Calm down. Amazing, dude.
There we go.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you. So I'm scooping up all that bone marrow with that to go on top. There we go. There we go. Save a bit for the chef. You've had a bit.
I've had a bit.
That bone marrow just adds another level of flavour.
Are you okay there, Libby? Do you want any help?
Right.
Guys, go easy. Go gentle, please.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
She's all on her own.
So,
Pork coming up next.
pork coming up next.
Guys, there is more meat coming. There's more pork coming, so don't panic if you don't get a bit of steak straight away.
Okay, so it is.
Any children here? Good, no. The bone marrow is the bollocks, we've just heard.
So with these pork chops,
Yeah.
I've got something called andouille, which is a
Hello.
spicy spreadable sausage from Calabria. And this lovely guy here, Mark Dennis, who's a good friend of mine, makes it down in Cornwall, and it's stunning. And what I do with this is just mix that with some butter, about 50-50.
Did you have some?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, amazing, mate. Absolutely amazing.
Stunning.
Yeah. Oh, best thing I've eaten all day.
Brilliant. Marcus, do you hear that? The best thing he's eaten all day.
Oh, wow, thank you.
You'll take that.
Best thing I've eaten.
That's all right. What do you think? What's your name?
Mel, I think that's finger licking good.
Yeah, that's a bit of a KFC reference, so we'll ignore that.
So, Barra, next
Yeah.
thing, pork chops.
Yeah, pork
Ready,
chops.
63 degrees C, yeah? Andouille butter. So this
Yep.
stuff here,
Yep.
yeah, spicy, lovely. Mix it with butter. Charcoal. On like that.
Again,
Not melted.
charcoal going directly onto the meat.
It will. That one falls off. So a nice hot bit of charcoal on there, and that will just melt that and sear it, and that will make a nice slick of flavour over the top.
That's the money shot. Look at that.
It's quite pretty, isn't it?
Well, I tell you, I've learned so much today. It's absolutely extraordinary. I'm going to be barbecuing completely differently. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. Now we're going to overrun like we always do, Marcus. So we
Yeah,
need
sorry.
to. That's all right. We can do another 5-6 minutes.
Okay. So while that's going, I'm going to get the pineapple.
Oh, the pineapple. Who forgot about the pineapple? Oh no.
I hadn't forgotten about the pineapple.
No.
Honestly.
So let's start chopping up these porks.
So they're ready. They
And
can
getting
start
into it.
going out.
Do we need to start cutting them?
Yeah.
Can I get any opinions on that
Nothing.
steak?
That'll be coming out in a minute.
What did you think? Louder, nobody can. Delicious. That's a good adjective. I like that one.
So pineapple.
Man, can you help cut my pork? Is that all right? Is that all right? Just unless you want me to start doing it, but I'll chop my fingers off. I am not a chef. Just cutting up the pork here, guys. It is coming. It's on its way.
So they're ready to go out. Okay. So pineapple.
Can I suggest those who had steak make room for those who had no food? Yeah, is that all right? Let the pork go out to those who didn't get a chance on the steak. Thank you. I'm not
spoon.
convinced. You guys went like that, and then you went like that.
Okay, so you don't have to do this method just for meat. I make a pineapple with a maple butter melt. So butter, maple syrup, mix it together. Like
Everybody
that.
seeing that? Everybody hearing that?
Yeah,
butter and maple
butter,
syrup.
Maple syrup. And then I'm going to pop this on each of these pineapple bits. It will try and run away, but
That's acceptable.
yeah. I didn't cut them straight, so... and then simply again, you get a nice bit of charcoal. I love putting charcoal on things. I think I'm a bit obsessed, but there we go.
Who
And
did
that
not
will-
get steak? Put your hand up if you didn't get steak. You got 3 steaks.
So that will melt
Yeah, it's like a Ryanair flight.
I'm looking for nice hot embers here. That will melt and caramelise
That's
up
ready to go.
that maple
Beautiful.
butter. Lovely. Can you smell that there? It
Yeah.
smells caramelly.
I'll give it those bones.
Can you get a whiff of that?
Okay.
It's like caramel, so
Libby, outrageous. Right, who did not have steak? Yeah? Go on, just rip it off, rip it off. Rip it. Don't worry about your fingers, go on.
this has just been today about adding extra flavour. Think
Don't worry,
about
I'm coming down, I'm coming
opportunities
down, I'm coming
when you
down.
barbecue. Don't just cook a steak. Think, how can I add
Who else
extra
didn't have
flavour
steak?
at every opportunity? And honestly, you'll take your steaks from
Guys,
just there
don't think it's
to
the wrong
there
way, but you
to
can't
there,
suck on
and
the
you'll
bone.
keep getting better and better and better. And steak is an amazing thing. Meat
Bit of
is an
pork.
amazing thing. I think we've got a duty to make the best of it that we can.
Anybody else want to taste the pork? You're more than welcome. Get stuck in. You can suck on the bone, guys. Don't take it the wrong way. You can suck on the bone. Yeah, go for it. Gee whiz. That's got to be the lady, dude. I'm sorry. There's a bit of fat there. Look, bit of fat.
Have you?
Amazing. Okay, well, hang on. Where did that lady go? You can't do it. What do you think of the pork?
Oh,
What's your name?
thank you.
What do you think of the pork?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Amazing. Just the pineapple left to go.
Just the pineapple left to go, and we're there. Lots and lots of stuff to get through, but hopefully lots that will inspire you on your own barbecue journey, because that's what it's all about. Barbecue is a journey, and we're all, different stages of that journey. And, let nobody tell you how barbecue is right. You do it your way. There's lots of ways to do it. Let nobody tell you barbecue you're doing is wrong.
If you had one tip,
Yeah.
one tip to give to those who want to go beyond the sausage and beyond the whatever the barbecue, what was that one tip be in relation to barbecuing?
Have fun. Enjoy it. It's
Have fun.
barbecue.
Have fun. Pineapple serving in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah. There we go.
I'll leave that there for chef and everyone else. Now, somebody particularly wants a pineapple over here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank
Don't worry,
you.
it's not too hot. The drip's on you.
Got steak in there.
Hope you've all washed your hands. Go for it, go for it, go for
Steak.
it.
Hanger steak.
Delicious, right? Delicious. Don't worry, I'm coming around. Sorry, guys, if anything drips in your head or your clothes. Those who wear white shirts, I'm sorry. What are you doing coming here with white shirts?
Oh, thank you.
Pineapple
Thank
do?
you. It's a bit more steak. That's hot. It's just come out.
Anybody
so-
tasting the charcoal? What do you think how
thank you.
charcoal tastes? It's okay, right?
Yeah.
Who knew charcoal tasted so
Haven't,
good?
I couldn't
Pineapple?
carry them all up from Devon with me.
Match your
so,
shirt?
They're on Amazon at the moment and good
Crazy good,
sellers. So
Yeah, delicious.
Yeah, thank you.
Delicious.
Are they?
Just go for it, go for it, go for it. Yeah,
They should be on Amazon.
yeah, I believe
so.
you can. That's a good question. Marcus,
It's selling so quickly.
Marcus,
so-
we got a question here. Could you
Yes.
put the pineapple on a smoker?
Yeah, I think it needs a bit more high heat. So, you need that sear on the outside. So, smoking it slowly, it will gradually get up to temperature. You need a bit of caramelisation with it. So, a bit of direct heat, a bit of roasting temperatures. So,
Last chance, last chance.
Well, by doing that. Eventually it will, but.
Guys,
Yeah.
guys, hasn't he worked hard?
Whew. Thank you.
I mean, what an extraordinary live demo. He got everything out on time. We only ran over by 5 minutes. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the king of barbecue in the UK, Marcus Bawdon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back
you, mate.
here in 10 minutes
that. Thank
for the
you.
most
Thank you.
extraordinary burger. 10 minutes.